What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, I'm going to talk about an experience I just had with an eBay seller refund request. So stay tuned. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So normally, if I'm on here and I'm talking about eBay, usually it is something negative that has happened. Something where I've often I feel like as a seller there, a lot of times they take the sellers for granted. They side with the buyers. You've seen this on a lot of different videos out there, not just from me, from plenty of people. Like Otto with 3 Men in a Basement just talked about a return that he had to go through, and eBay sides with the buyer. Then he ends up eating the book and the shipping costs, all that kind of stuff. But this one I wanted to talk about because when something positive happens, if I'm going to complain when the negative stuff happens, I should also talk about when the positive stuff happens and the good experiences that I have. Because despite the fact that I complain about eBay sometimes, I'm also a big proponent of it. I do talk about that on here, that I sell on eBay almost exclusively. I do sell some on like Instagram, that kind of thing, but I almost exclusively sell on eBay. And I like the platform. I like that I can just put items up there, and in my case comics, put items up there and just kind of leave them and let them handle themselves. I don't have to keep reposting all this kind of stuff. eBay does the advertising, promotion, whatever else for them. When you get those emails when people put up books that say, hey, this seller might have a book that you're interested in, all that stuff they do for you. So I appreciate all that. I think that is all worth the fee, even though I was upset as well that they're raising the fees again a couple months ago, but whatever. This is about a positive experience. So one thing that I sell through as part of eBay is they have something called their global shipping program. And so this is something where if you weren't part of that and you wanted to sell internationally, you would have a setting in your account and you would have certain countries and things that you might be willing to ship to. But then you had to handle that shipping on your own, doing the customs and dealing with upset customers when they get the item and then they've got a big customs fee they have to pay and all of that. But if you go through the eBay Global Shipping Program, all of that is upfront to the buyer. So when you're part of that, you actually ship the book to eBay, or the item to eBay. I think mine goes to like Tennessee. I don't know if they have other sites. You ship it to eBay, then I don't know exactly how they repackage it, if they put it inside a larger box or if they put the label over the box you provide or what it is. But they then take that item, they repackage it, take care of all the customs, all of that, and send it to the buyer. And when the buyer actually purchases the book, everything is up front to them. They see what their custom fees are going to be. They see what all their shipping fees are going to be for eBay sending it to whatever country they're sending it to. And so it's very straightforward to the buyer. There's no surprises when they get the item. So yeah, a lot of people complain because it makes it look like the item is much more expensive, but that's what you would end up paying anyway when the item gets there because of customs. So one of the big benefits that I like about that global shipping program, in addition to it giving you access to other buyers around the world, is that eBay provides a lot of protection for the seller. Once the item is in their hands and they are sending it out, they are basically taking responsibility for it. And so if something goes wrong, gets stuck in customs, damage, whatever, their terms of use, or whatever you want to call it, state that they're taking responsibility for it. You as the seller aren't going to have to eat that cost. If customs seizes the item or whatever, you're not going to be out the item. And so I actually had that experience recently. So now I can say that is legitimately what they do. And this was not an inexpensive item. I sold a 9.8 of X-Men 129, which is the first appearance of Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, Sebastian Shaw, and the Hellfire Club. The book sold for $5,200. It was not a cheap book. And it was shipped internationally, and I sent it to eBay. They packaged it up, sent it internationally. It got to that country's customs on March 22nd, and it had been sitting there for a month. And it just kept saying that they were looking for more information. And so finally, a couple days ago, I called eBay and I was like, hey, this has been sitting there a month. I think this buyer's going to get upset after a while. It looks like they need more information. Maybe you should reach out to them. The next day, the buyer submitted a refund request. And if you sell through eBay, you know what that means. It means that they immediately put a hold on your account for the amount of that sale. And so I all of a sudden had a negative $5,212 on my account. I was not happy. I mean, like, as you can imagine, like if it's one thing, if it was, maybe like $10 or $100, all of a sudden a big negative on my account. And so that means any books that I had sold, any items that I had sold that were less than $5,200 in total, I wasn't getting. They weren't sending those payouts. It just would start eating into that negative. And so I was really nervous at first because I thought as part of the global shipping program, that wouldn't happen to me. I wouldn't get that negative put on my account, that they were taking the responsibility for it, and so I wouldn't see that. But it seems regardless if there is a return request, whether it's global shipping or not, it's just part of their policy, and that's what they do. And then they had a 72-hour review window. They said within 72 hours it'll be reviewed, and I called and talked to them. I talked to their, the person was great that I talked to. Well, I'll say the first person I talked to was not great. That was a very poor experience. They didn't understand the situation or anything. But I called back the following day and talked to someone else. They put me into contact with their, I don't remember what it's called, like their high value items group, and talked to the person there. She was great. She clearly knew what she was talking about, and she said, it's just part of the policy. You are part of the global shipping program. This will not impact you. You will be taken care of in terms of the cost of the item, regardless of what happens. And all of a sudden, I got my response on that item that they had reviewed the case. They sided with the return for the buyer, so they refunded the buyer, and they said you are not going to have a negative on your account, and you keep the money. And so they sided with effectively both of us. And so I keep the money because my item isn't here. eBay had responsibility for that item, and it's now stuck in customs in that other country. And the buyer isn't stuck. They got their money back, and so eBay ate $5,200. I mean, so to me, that is a big reason on the positive side for eBay of having a large entity like that, that they have the ability to take care of the sellers like that. Because yeah, I've complained about how it seems like they're always siding with the buyers and and treating the sellers like they're kind of like almost like criminals or lesser people in their user group. But in this case, I gotta give them credit. It was what I was expecting from what their terms of service stated, but you never really know. Maybe you miss something in the fine print or whatever, and so. But that's not the case. Global shipping program, they definitely backed the seller, me, once I had gotten the item to them. Now, if something happened to the item in transit to them, that's a different story. But once they had it, they had repackaged it, they had sent it out, it was their responsibility, and they refunded me as well. That negative went away, and now I'll get my payout or whatever for the other items that I had sold. So overall, very positive experience with that with eBay. And I gotta say, with that global shipping program, they definitely have the sellers' backs, and I appreciate that. So I just thought it would be good to put out a positive video when something good happens from the perspective of eBay with the sellers. So hope you enjoyed this video, maybe learned something about how that eBay program works. If you did, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.